Great Wednesday morning, April 21st, 2021. To God be the glory for yet another beautiful opportunity to experience His love, His joy, His faithfulness. 4/21/21. Yes. And we are in the 29th chapter or 30th chapter? 30th chapter of 1 Samuel. But before we get into that, let me ask you this. Are you feeling discouraged with anything that's going on in your life? With any circumstance, maybe, or it's something that's going on with someone else's life, or maybe with just trials that are surrounding you? Well, the counsel for today is to wait on the Lord and be of good courage. And we think about that word, courage. The confidence is in the Lord, and He will build us up. Don't you know that David had to do this? This is where in verse 6 of chapter 30, it said, "But David encouraged himself in the Lord, his God." Well, what were the circumstances? Because David was being confronted by some enemies, and his 2 wives were taken captive, and other sons and daughters of his team were being taken. And the people on his team were talking about stoning him. This was a big trial for him. And just everybody was weeping. And it says that David and the people that were with him in verse 4 lifted up their voice and wept until they had no more power to weep. Have you ever been there where you just cried? You remember when you were a child, when you would cry, and then afterward, and you lose your breath? I've been there. You remember that kid cry where you're just so tired from crying? Have you ever been there where you're just crying where you get so tired? Well, as adults, they were experiencing this. And it says, so David and his men came to the city, and behold, it was burned with fire. And their wives and their sons and their daughters were taken captives. So this was a great, great test. And that's when it says, everyone was greatly grieved in verse 6. And then that's when David encouraged himself in the Lord. Listen, this is important for us to do because we might have that circumstance today. Well, in Habakkuk 3:16, 17, and 18, it talks about one of my favorite words as a verb, joy. Joy, we always think of joy as a noun, but joy as a verb. This is where it says, although the fig tree shall not blossom, and neither the fruit shall be on the vines, and the labor of the olive shall fail, and the field shall yield no meat. That means you have no resources. Everything is looking bleak around you. And the flock shall be cut off, and there shall be no herd in the stalls. They're broke mentally, physically, emotionally, in every way. Yet I will rejoice in the Lord. Here comes the verb. I will joy in the God of my salvation. The Lord God is our strength. This is the reason why we could go on and be encouraged. And it says in verse 19, the Lord God is our strength, and He will make our feet like hinds' feet. We will be energized, buoyant. We might not be able to get up, but we will be able to get up inside internally, which is more important. And we will have momentum. Talking about keep on trucking, which you said the other day. And He will make us to walk upon our own preordained high places. And then confirmation today, Psalms 21. The King, this is David, this is you, this is me, this is you. The King, we shall joy verb, joy. We shall joy in the Lord's strength. For again, he is our salvation, and we shall greatly rejoice, no matter what comes our way. What you got to say about that, son? As a 19-year-old, what do you have to encourage yourself in? It's a lot that's going on in the world.
Getting out of bed.
Getting out of bed. Right? And facing the day, and what else?
That's about it.
That's about it. Well, remember, he said that he'll make our feet like hinds, so that, you know how they hop from one place to another, and he has some preordained high places for you to meet, look, my Band-Aid, for you to go to today, and you can skip, you can rejoice in the Lord, knowing that he's with you, and he has walked our path before us, and he'll never leave us nor forsake us. So enjoy the presence of the Lord all day, and know that you must encourage yourself in the Lord.